Don't know why. All right. Greetings, humans. Greetings, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode. Bear here, 29-year veteran of the woods, and for some reason, I don't know why, it's like started at 7:45 for some reason. Usually we try to start here at 8 o'clock, not necessarily on the dot, but pretty close. So, apologize for, being late to an early show? I don't know how that works. But at any rate, we're here. We're live. We're doing it live here for you good people here, and get started here right away. First off, gotta send a kind of a big shout out. Hope he gets better. To Mike Miller. Actually was on the show last week or Wednesday. I'm sorry, and got a note saying, "Hey, no D&Q tonight." And, oh, okay. Well, maybe certain things or whatever was going on. Turns out, oh my goodness, sounds like poor Mike has got a little touch of the case of the old woo flu out there. So, sending a shout out and best wishes out to Mike Miller and the whole Miller family. Actually, the whole Miller family there. Bear was actually scanning in some different stuff that he had gotten over the past year or so, some of the original art, and actually one of them was Eden Miller's nice couple pieces that Bear's gotten. So very nice stuff there, very nice stuff. At any rate, all the Millers, wish them the best out there. Hope a speedy recovery out there. Yes, indeed. All right, well, that's out of the way. Starting a little bit early for some reason. I don't know why, but here we are. But you know what? I tell you, one of the things that Bear finally is able to enjoy, was out and about, searching through the neighborhood trash cans and actually came across some delicious sushi. Let me actually put it up here. Let me put it up for you good people to hear. Click off of that. Click onto that, and look at there. Ah, beautiful plate. A beautiful plate of. I mean, maybe slightly one-day-old sushi or something like that, but hey, you know what? That's all right. Doesn't matter to Bear very much. So, they always say don't eat during a stream. Don't drink during a stream either. But, well, you know what? Bear finally gets. I believe this is some salmon. I'm not actually sure if it's actually salmon or not. Let's see here. Is it some sort of fish? Let me look on the ingredient list. Let's see. What does it say? It says white rice, yes, and holy cow, how many ingredients are on this list here? Holy cow, look at this. A huge list. That is a huge list of ingredients. I'm sure most of it's MSG, but that's alright. That's what keeps it nice and fresh for you good people. Or at least a Bear, so he's going to be enjoying some salmon while we do our little show here, so pardon Bear for 1 second as he tears into some delicious sushi here. Oh, finally, after all this time, still waiting for you, an artist. We've got the stuff from last week that we had out here, so still waiting for an artist to do some delivery of some salmon for Bear and one other comic books. That would be ideal. Yes, indeed. There we go. Ah, yes, indeed. All right, so pardon me here. Take a moment just to think of the children of the world and the water crisis or I don't care, whatever. Oh, hold on, I'm going to eat it. Going to try it here, Chef Sampler, see what it's all about here. Oh, that's what we want. That's what we want right there. Ah, yes, indeed. Most people, they wouldn't start their show. They just wouldn't start their show just kind of stuffing their face with stuff there, but, you know what, it's restaurants like that. It's got, I think it's got some salmon in there. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if it's got salmon. Ah, but it's delicious. Yes, indeed. God, I need another one. That's good. That's good. You know what, we're just gonna, there we go. I had to wash it down there a little bit. We're just gonna switch up the show here. We're gonna talk about some campaigns and stuff like that. Screw all that. It's going to be Bear stuffing his face for the next hour or so. So I hope I hope you do enjoy that. we are not going to stuff our face for the next hour, I promise. I'm going to, gonna stuff my face with another piece of sushi, though. That's definitely on the menu, as it were. There we go. I'm gonna kind of do this gingerly here. It kind of falls apart in Bear's claws here. Yes, indeed. All right. 1 second. Ah, this is why we started early. This so the bear could eat. Alright, you know that. None of that jibber jabber where Bear's just kind of stuffing his face. That's alright. We actually have some very important stuff to talk about here. Once Bear wets his whistle. Yes, indeed. Alright. Should we get to it here real quickly? There we go. Get that out of the way. Because we actually have some stuff to discuss. We're talking about it, on last, hold on. That's some good sushi. Yes. Alright, so we were actually, it was actually a question that Bear got the last time. Talking about, what did you think that, might have been a groundbreaking book? And, Bear kind of took that more or less as the, groundbreaking as it kind of related to Comicsgate. So, we're not talking about Superman or Batman or anything like that. But we did have some interesting stuff that's coming out. Well, actually has. Let me just kind of click on it real quickly here if it'll bring it up. Got some campaigns that came out. John Malin came out with his Godlike. This was a couple days ago. I think he's got a little bit more out of it, but doing some great work there. We also saw Uncle E doing really well on his toys there and everything. So the kind of groundbreaking kind of idea kind of came to Bear and says, okay, where did if you were just kind of coming to this just kind of off the street. Bear's burping here. He can't help himself with all this delicious sushi here. Yes, indeed. But where did if you're coming off the street, first thing you see is Cyberfrog. Where did it come from? So we'll be talking a little bit about that a little bit later on. But in the meantime, while Bear finally gets his bearings here, we actually do have some news out here today. I always try to start out the show with a little bit of news. It's different. It's different every time. Sometimes this isn't a current events show or a political show or anything like that. So we don't try to do the route stuff out there that pretty much everybody's talking about or anything like that. Bears usually try to kind of be ahead of the curve just a little bit. So we got a number of different things, kind of different areas to talk about. Whether it be the whole Wu flu situation or what's kind of going on around a little bit of current event stuff. Every once in a while, Bear kind of ventures into the little bit of the technical kind of a computer area a little bit. Actually, this was going to be a kind of a tech channel at one point before we actually started to do comics. So Bear kind of dips his claws in every once in a while and kind of comes back to it. So let me just kind of click on. Oop, I need to do the thing with the thing. Hold on just 1 second, people. Oh, I gotta do the thing. I need a second screen here for this. Let's see. Let's do it. Nope, that's not it. Why is it not doing it? Oh, for crying out loud. It's, just bear with Bear here for technical reasons. Why is it not showing up? Oh, OBS. I tell you what, you start early, and then you've got OBS problems for some reason. Let's see, it's not any of that. Oh, bear with, let me just put the thumbnail back up because this is not working for Bear. Let me see if I can get another one going here and see if that will work. Otherwise, might have to go on to something else here. Okay, let's see. Display capture. 3, whatever, doesn't matter, whatever. Oh, there we go, finally. Sorry about that, people. Let me rescale it here so it will fit on the screen, and we'll be able to see what we're talking about here instead of let's see, did it do it? Oh no, it didn't do it. It's still doing it. Hold on, people. Oh, hold on, people. I've got to turn this off, and then let me see. One of these days, Bear always tries to, at least strive for a professional show. I'm not going to get there anytime soon, especially not today. There we go. All right. Get rid of all that. Sorry about that, people. There we go. All right, now we can do it here. Now we can do it because we're going to talk a little bit about Apple stuff here. So it's got kind of a through line, hopefully a through line that you guys will be able to see. But let's just go ahead and start it off. Work continues on the Wuhan Apple Store for a September opening. I think we all know. Where Wuhan is in China. There we go. Apple will soon start work on a new Apple Store location in China, with the first outlet in Wuhan to set at the Wuhan International Plaza. Greater China is a major market for Apple, and one that saw revenue growth of nearly 60% in the Q3 2021 results. Well, probably because 2020 was not a very good year. But at any rate, to aid in the future growth in the region, Apple is readying a store for construction. Yes, indeed. An Apple Store in the Wuhan International Plaza's interior decoration project has been reviewed and approved by the Hebei Provincial Government Service Network. Yes, according to a group called Patently Apple. The store, which will occupy... excuse me. I still got that sushi. Gotta go down, sushi. Come on. The store, which will occupy 9,500 square feet of space, will be set on the second floor of the Wuhan Virology. I'm sorry. The Wuhan International Plaza Shopping Center. Yes, that's right. Wuhan International. It goes on, it says, it is anticipated the store will be open in September 2021, potentially in time to coincide with the 2-year anniversary. To coincide with the launch of the iPhone 13 and other products. There you go. Well, I mean, they're made with slave labor, so you don't have to go very far. So far, Apple has opened 42 outlets in mainland China across 21 cities. Shanghai has the most, with 7 outlets, followed by Beijing with 5. Apple CEO Tim Apple said Q3 was an incredibly strong quarter for Greater China revenue, setting a June revenue record in the process. Blah, 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 blah. So there you are. There you are, just opening a store right up in Wuhan. Good for you. Good for you, Apple. All right, our next story. It's probably a little bit of a technical story here. And a lot of people don't have iTunes or anything like that. That's fine. Just follow the bouncing ball here, as it were. iTunes Match is not working for a growing number of users. An increasing number of iTunes Match users are reporting issues with the service, with some claiming content uploads have not been functional for weeks. Launched in 2011, iTunes Match allows users to pair songs with their music library, whether it be downloaded songs or CD rips, with a high-resolution versions, that's a tough one, high-resolution versions pulled from iTunes. Match music can then be made available for listening across all owned devices. So basically, they kind of come in and say, "Oh, okay, you've got I don't know, let's just say a Elvis CD or an Elvis song or something like that." So it says, "Hey, we see that you've got this Elvis on there. Would you like to buy, maybe his live album or this album or another album, or maybe, it kind of will match you with different artists or something like that." So you might be matched with, I don't know, whatever it would be, the Beatles or something like that. Hey, you like Apple, or you like Elvis, you might like the Beatles. There you go. So kind of a matching service kind of looks at whatever music you have and kind of combines it with whatever they have on their side and sees if you like it. It's a neat little thing there. To use the service, customers first need to upload their music libraries from the Apple Music app to the iCloud for processing. This will be important. Follow along, people. This will be important. For some, however, that mechanism is no longer working, according to online accounts. And it kind of goes on talking about people from Apple support communities and Reddits. You can download all your files in the cloud, but if you upload more, they won't respond. Seems like this has been broken for a week now, said Reddit users. And other people kind of having the same problem there as well. It's basically, once again, the iTunes match. They kind of have it up in the iCloud there. And once again, it tries to match stuff up there. But they're having a little bit of a problem here, it seems, trying to do that. So that if you've got your music on there, it's kind of a downer. But it kind of goes something. It's okay if it doesn't match your music or something like that. I mean, hey, would you like to have that? Sure. Is it a must-have? Is it, life-changing or anything like that? Not really. I mean, you can kind of get away with that or something like that. But that's all right. Okay, so that kind of blends in, kind of the two stories blends into this final story, which kind of caused a bit of an uproar. We'll just kind of get into it here. It says, I'm sorry, I should have mentioned this before. It's Apple Insider, and this is by Mike Peterson. And Mike, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. The two Mikes there. Oh, what you need to know. Apple's iCloud, we were talking about iCloud. Apple's iCloud Photos and Messages Child Safety Initiative. I mean, gosh, who doesn't want child safety? Who doesn't want child safety? We'll come back to this neat little picture here, but it's kind of important, especially the first step here. That first step is very important here. But all right. Apple's recent child safety announcement about iCloud Photos image assessment and management notification has generated a lot of hot takes. Oh, those hot takes! I tell you what. But many of the arguments are missing context. All those people, historical information, and the fact that Apple's privacy policies aren't changing. Oh, okay. Well, let's see what it says here. Apple announced a new suite of tools on Thursday meant to protect children online and curb the spread in what they're calling child sexual abuse material. They call it CSAM. I think we all kind of know it's CP. I think we all know what CP would be, so we don't need to get into that further. Bear does not want to talk about anything about that. This is kind of interesting thing here. It included features in iMessage, Siri, and search, and a mechanism that scans iCloud photos for known CP images. So what you do is you take your photo on your iPhone there, and a lot of times what happens is it is kind of shared to the iCloud. So your photos go up there on the iCloud, and then, let's just say you took a photo with your phone and you want to look at it on your iPad or your computer later on. Well, it just kind of downloads it from the iCloud there, so you don't have to kind of download the photo and from the phone and upload it into your other device or anything like that. So it kind of acts as kind of a middle manager there. So they're basically, they kind of came out and said it was it's going to scan all your iCloud photos. Everybody's iCloud photos that they have up there is now going to be scanned in a quote unquote new set of tools. There we go. Cybersecurity, online safety, and privacy experts had mixed reactions to the announcement. Oh, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why. Users did too. I tell you what, sometimes, look, Bear's not the best at English here, but, the sentence structure here should have said, users did too, however, although they put a period there. Mike, the two Mikes, whichever Mike did this, I tell you what. Let's see, users did too, of course. However, many of the arguments are clearly ignoring, you bunch of ignorant fools out there, are clearly ignoring how widespread the practice of scanning image databases for CP actually is. Well, number one, who cares? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about why Apple is doing it, not why, let's just say Google or somebody else is doing that. This is just clearly talking about Apple, and Apple has actually been kind of forefront and out front, saying that they're out there to protect your privacy, and now they're actually going to go through all your photos and scan them. So there you go. They also ignore the fact, you ignorant people, they also ignore the fact that Apple is not abandoning its privacy protecting technologies. It's just putting in a back door there so they can scan your iCloud photos for CP images out there. Yes, indeed. Here's what you should know. Apple's privacy feature. Well, I'm not going to go through the whole thing here. I just kind of wanted to hit on kind of some of the bigger issues here. The company's slate of child protection features include the aforementioned iCloud photo scanning. They're just going to scan them, no biggie. As well as updated tools and resources. In Siri and search, it also includes a feature meant to flag inappropriate images sent via e-message to or from minors. And Bear would say, what business of that is Apple? Is it, why are you even involving yourself in that? As Apple noted in its announcement, all of the features were built with privacy in mind. Except for we're just going to throw those in the trash now. Both the iMessage feature and the iCloud photo scanning, for example, use on-device intelligence. Oh, well, my worries are done now. I tell you what. Additionally, the iCloud Photos scanner, quote-unquote, isn't actually scanning or analyzing the images on a user's phone. Oh, well, there we go. Instead, it's comparing the mathematical hashes of known CP images stored in the iCloud. If a collection of known CP images is stored on the iCloud, then the account is flagged and a report is sent to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. These elements to the system to ensure that false positives are ridiculously rare. Apple says the chances of a false positive are 1 in 1 trillion per account. That's because the aforementioned collection threshold, which Apple declined to detail. So don't worry about it, people. There's not going to be any false positive. It's 1 in 1 trillion, people. That's quite a lot. Where do you get that number from? Well, we can't tell you. Oh, okay, all right. And let's just kind of go back. Let's just remember, they're scanning all this stuff, and they're comparing it to, one set of images. Oh, well, we should call them mathematical hashes, to another set of mathematical hashes. So it should work. 1 in 1 trillion, would be false positive. What could go wrong? Well, let me just go back to iTunes Match is not working for a growing number of users. An increasing number of iMatch users are reporting issues with the service, with some claiming content uploads have not been functional for weeks. So we're going to scan everything. You don't got to worry about it because it's all privacy, even though we're installing a backdoor, and there's only 1 in 1 trillion chance that it could have a false positive. But we're not going to tell you how we came to that, so shut up. Additionally, the scanning only works, this is important, on iCloud photos. Images stored strictly on device are not scanned. Pardon me here. Excuse me. And they can't be examined if iCloud Photos is turned off. So what they're saying here is basically it's only going to be looking at the stuff on the iCloud Photos. All right, let's go back to this picture here. Let's go back to this picture. This is what Apple is trying to talk about. They're trying to say, okay, we've got this image here, and it's not an image, it's just ones and zeros. You don't got to worry about it. It's just hashes, people. Just hashes. So it takes that and it puts it on every single Apple device that has the newest iOS, I believe 15 update. So it takes that, just a list of image hashes and stores it onto your phone. Okay, so what's the problem with that? Well, they just said that they were going to be scanning it through the iCloud account. So the question is, why aren't they taking this part of the database and putting it over here, which would be in the iCloud account? So right here, this big thing right here is the major backdoor that's going into every single phone that has iOS 15 on it. So it just kind of compares your user photo with a list of image hashes. Do they match? Oh, they match, so they send it over to Apple. Apple takes a look at it and says, is it reach that threshold or not threshold? Well, what's the threshold? Oh, we're not going to tell you, shut up. If the threshold of matches is exceeded, only then can Apple interpret voucher content for the CP matches there. So it's sent to Apple, and then Apple reviews it, and then sends it over to the National Child something or another. And anyways, another group of service who's probably also going to send it to our good friends in the federal government there. So there you are. Every single phone out now is going to have basically your hashes right there. So if you ever get into trouble and they take a look at your phone and says, oh, well, we've got all these matches of stuff on your phone. No, I didn't put that. I've never taken a picture like that in my life. Well, they're going to be able to get it because it's going to be on every single phone. So there you go. Congratulations, Apple, for completely destroying your pro-privacy message here and doing it all in one fell swoop and not really, these guys here, they're kind of for, basically pro-Apple, so they're not going to kind of come in and say, how dare you, Apple. Basically, the kind of response whenever you go down to the comments. Let's see, can I get down to the comments? It's a long thing here, but yeah, basically it's you people are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. Go read the article. And when people do and quote it on that, it's kind of silent for there. So, anyways, if you've got an Apple phone out there, just turn off your iCloud account. Just kind of be able to download all your photos off of there. Go ahead and turn it off. There's a way to turn that off. And if you really want to be sure, I believe this is an iOS 15, which is going to be coming out. So the other thing would just not to be. Not just don't download that. Just don't download that, and you should be good to go. You should be good to go there. All right, let me do the thing with the thing and the thing, so it doesn't do that. There we go. There we are. Miguel, hey, good to see you. Been a while. Hope you're enjoying here. All right, so want to get back into what we were kind of talking. A complete change of subjects here. Was asked the other show, what did Bear think was the most groundbreaking comics? And Bear kind of interpreted that as the most groundbreaking Comicsgate comics. So we're not going to kind of be comparing like DC, Marvel, that sort of stuff with the Comicsgate stuff. We're just going to be kind of comparing and contrasting a little bit of the stuff with just in the Comicsgate stuff. So let me get back over to this. Let me click off of here. So kind of the first one that we're going to talk about here. Click on it real quick if I can get to it. Let me see. There I am. There's Bear. First one we're going to talk about, I think pretty much everybody would more or less agree that one of the groundbreaking comics in Comicsgate here would be Jawbreakers. Basically, they were the first. They were the first here. Let's see, it was Richard C. Meyer and your boy Zach and John Malin. So we were talking about John Malin at the very beginning of the show. Well, how did he make all that money on the Godlike comic? Well, it all started with this little comic here, Jawbreakers. Richard C. Meyer wanted to get this published. Initially was going to be able to publish it, and then of course our friends with the blue hair decided to kind of cancel that. So they got in touch with the comic company there, the publisher, and had the publisher pull back there, not publish the book. So your boy Zach says, hey, there's this place on the internet called Indiegogo. Let's try it out there. And I would say they did not a bad job with it. $404,000. Now that was only $193,000 on May 10th of 2018. So 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, came out with Jawbreakers. Was the first. It made a huge splash. I mean, everybody was, even woodland creatures out here. We're talking about jawbreakers. Hey, what is this thing? Why is it getting so much attention and everything? Um, you have that sort of thing, makes a huge splash, and everybody kind of followed along with it. Uncle Lee probably kept a close eye on it and says, "Hey, that's gonna be pretty good. Let me see if we can do the Cyberfrog thing." But Expendables, or excuse me, the Jawbreakers kind of branched out into a number of stuff, including the Expendables. So he got quite a bit of a jump there. Let's see, $283,000. That was $180,000 on March 3rd, 2020. So there you go. Um, while Bear was kind of researching some of this stuff, he was going on Indiegogo, and I think Zach kind of stepped in it there a little bit. He sent out some emails and not necessarily blaming the fans, but kind of very short and curt about trying to explain why things are late, and didn't do the best job in explanation or something like that. So we got a bunch of people that were a little mad about that. But other than that, yeah, it allowed. Let's see, what was some of the other stuff? Iron Sights. We were talking about 499 the other day. So I mean, for one comic, I mean, really, just talking about Richard C. Meyer here, really kind of expanded out here, just from the Jawbreakers comic. Oh, Miguel says today in Building Soto, the blood props for Turkit and wound pack practice. No gym today. Oh, there. Oh, okay. I'm trying to. Beer does not know what Soto is. Today in Building Soto, the bleeding props for tourniquet and wound pack practice. No gym today, so why not put some CG from the wood stream? There you go. There you go. He says, stop the bleed. Sorry, I have an iPhone in Spanish autocorrection. I believe it would be autocorrection. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. No worries, Miguel. No worries, Miguel. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Jim or no Jim. All right, so there you go. Kind of Jawbreakers started pretty much everything. I think pretty much everybody can agree that Jawbreakers was a groundbreaking Comicsgate comic book there. Number two, probably no surprise to anyone, Cyberfrog. Cyberfrog made quite a bit more there. Let's see, $538,000. That would have been $531,000 on July 30th, 2018. So, remember the days. Bear actually went back and tried to find the original campaign. There were actual second and I believe third campaigns just for Cyberfrog Blood Honey here. Had to take a drink. Just for Cyberfrog, so had to go back to the original one. And remember the days when they were only 60 days long, 30 days, and then well maybe we'll extend it a little bit more, then it'll go 60. Well, that's what happened to Cyberfrog and Bear. Bear was checking out Cyberfrog, wasn't really knowledgeable about Indiegogo, and they ended up closing the campaign. So yeah, had to get it on the second round there, but yeah. Ethan Van Sciver's Cyberfrog Blood Honey comic book made $538,000 on its first run. So they took the excitement and sort of novelty to Jawbreakers and kind of pushed that cart even a little bit further. So how would you describe it? It was a big leap forward, I guess you could say, for Cyberfrog. Kind of took the success of what was going on with Jawbreakers, and Ethan has a little bit more of kind of a gregarious personality. Zach maybe a little bit more reserved, so definitely somebody like that coming up on their YouTube channel. Also helped that the whole Star Wars situation was starting out at that time, the fandom menace, that sort of deal. So kind of piggybacked upon that. Definitely had the highest backers, or I guess I should say amount that was made. I don't know if it had the most backers, but definitely was the highest amount. And also that sort of kind of parlayed into what was going, the promotion campaigns started to become what was called CG Live or Comicsgate Live. And it was mainly it focused on Ethan and him selling his comic and getting that sold, but Ethan was able to bring in other people, John Malin, others as well. So it almost became a little bit of an artist showcase there. So not only was Ethan kind of selling his comic book, he was also helping to sell other comic books as well. So in fact, you can kind of see that today, where Uncle E is out there helping sell John Malin's book. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Cecil pretty much sold John Malin's books. We should probably thank Cecil for that. Um, but yeah, definitely he kind of has this sort of a collection of artists, especially early on in the Comicsgate days there, where pulling all sorts of people in, all sorts of people there, and helping out with their campaigns. A lot of the books that Bear got initially would have never known about if it weren't for Uncle E's channel or anything like that. Let's see. I know for sure Battle Maiden was one. A number of well as well. So a Graveyard Shift, a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, Miguel says, make some VSR videos, make some SJ Comics versus CG, most by comparisons. Oh, come on. Bear is not the best with math here. What is the most selling SJW comic book until now? And what is the most selling CG comic book? Probably the original Cyberfrog. It was 3 different campaigns. Um, I forget exactly how much it totaled up, or it might be number 2 here, because I was gonna get to that in just a second. But yeah, Cyberfrog 1 kind of parlayed into not only other people's campaigns but also his as well. So the second Cyberfrog campaign, $1.2 million. I tell you what, that's quite a haul there for Uncle E trying to pack all those books. I can't remember if he's signing all these books or not, but there you go. Yeah, that's probably something a little bit more for the people that get really into, they look all at the sales numbers and stuff like that and trying to compare that sort of stuff. Again, this was never meant to be as a comparison to kind of mainstream stuff. We were just trying to talk about mainly CG books. I think that's a good idea, Miguel, but Bear does not have that information right at his claw tips, as it were. All right. So we're mentioning different artists and different artists being showcased on the Comicsgate Live situation. Believe it or not. In fact, we started out the show giving him a shout out here. We're going to talk a little bit about Micus Miller and Lone Star here. A little bit different. A lot of people might not say, "Hey, Bear, Lone Star," compared to Cyberfrog, it's not that groundbreaking. I would say it would be. For the first thing, trying to your boy Zach starting out definitely got a great artist in John Malin, but I don't think that John Malin was that well known at the time. So having people to be able to come in like Ethan Van Sciver or say Mike Miller, especially in kind of that short time frame, um, it definitely helped kind of kickstart a lot of the stuff. You could say your boy Zach is doing a good job on his campaign, but then when you had actual industry professionals coming in saying, "Okay, we're leaving the industry, we're coming over here, we're gonna do our own thing." Definitely Ethan for one. Mike Miller was another step as well. I think that just kind of added a little bit of the momentum to definitely the campaigns, but also kind of the movement, the Comicsgate movement, as it were, definitely kind of helped out with that. So, there's been the split. People looking at this now would think, why are you talking about Mike Miller and Ethan? Well, they actually used to be on the same show together. Actually used to more or less get along with each other. A little bit of gentle ribbing there, as it were. But no, Mike did a really good job on his comic. Actually, he was able to produce, I would say, more comics in this time frame than any of the other. Yeah, I think he's done more than your boy Zach. Um, gosh, let's see, two Lone Stars. The third one's coming out. Maga 7. He did the Shark book. I think there was another one as well. So he's got, what was that, 5, I guess, out now? 6 coming out and a couple more in the pike. So definitely cranking him out, as it were. But good quality. The other thing, I mean, you got to talk about Mike just a little bit here. In fact, let me just click on that. So it was 113,399. Now that $1 hurt. 13,000 for his first campaign, and then the second campaign, look at there, 179,000. So definitely did good on the first campaign. Did a whole lot better on the second campaign there. So he's doing pretty good. And right around that time, I mean, Mike had his own channel and everything. So he was a little similar to what Uncle E was doing, as sort of an artist showcase. So you had Mike coming up with, well, and John Malin too. I got to give him credit with the whole drawn and quartered situation. If you haven't seen it, drawn and quartered, you get a bunch of different artists come in, 2 hours, draw whatever the topic of the day is, and let the audience vote on who's the best. So that was able to kind of bring in a number of different artists there as well. They did a really good thing where they would bring in winners from a fan edition in to come to compete with some of the big name artists there. So that's helped out with a bunch of, which I guess you would say no names at the time, or little known names at the time. You know, being able to go head to head, that's, get your name out there and everything. Plus, also, the auctions as well. I think Uncle E is going to be doing an auction tonight. He was doing one last night. Well, he got the idea from Mike. I mean, that's where it came from. So you got to give Mike a little bit of credit coming up with some definitely with the shows that we kind of see out there now. Also, just being able to bring these different people on. Again, a number of people that Bear had never heard of. Matthew Weldon. I mean, Bear wasn't really sure about Matthew Weldon until he was on the Drawn Quarter show and stuff like that, or Matthew Cawson, or Siege, Under Siege, or any of the other guys out there. Elliot Fernandez. I'm going to leave a whole bunch of people out. Kevin Sharp, all these number of people. So again, the sorts of center of gravity, as it were, center of gravity, center of mass there, being able to bring in all these other artists where fans out there might be able to, hey, check out new people and new books and stuff like that. So there you go. I think that would be one reason why the Lone Star series, especially the first one, would be kind of a groundbreaking book. All right, this next one is going to be very, very, very controversial. Bear's not doing this for controversy, but we've got Bigfoot Bill. But Bear, you say, Bear, why? Why? Dirtworm Doug, he doesn't deserve to be on the list of the greatest groundbreaking comics in Comicsgate. Well, I think, I mean, again, I would put an asterisk on this. Obviously, Doug. Mike doesn't consider himself Comicsgate, but Doug definitely is very much what they would call anti-Comicsgate. I'm not sure what that is, because if you're anti-Comicsgate, you're with the industry. So Doug's kind of off on his own little planet, on his own little whatever that he's doing there. But, excuse me, that's sushi. It's coming back to haunt me here. It, once again, kind of in that same vein of bringing in a well-known artist into the fold of Comicsgate and kind of keeping that momentum going. Doug TenNapel kind of coming in and doing some of the shows early on. I know it seems like an odd thing, but he was on the Comicsgate live shows. He was doing live streams with all the Comicsgate people that we know, especially early on. So he was there doing all that sort of stuff. So why would Bigfoot Bill be considered kind of a groundbreaking book? Well, the one thing that I think Doug did well was, the big thing on the Cyberfrog was not only the great artwork on there and everything, but Uncle E decided to do what was called chromium, the chromium cover. So it's kind of a very reflective kind of cover there. different than the normal comic book covers that you would see. Of course, they had hard books out there, but Doug really kind of took that to the next level with Bigfoot Bill, kind of bringing in these what would you call that? Sort of the traditional book binding to the comics that he was doing. So I think that influenced a lot of the other creators out there, especially if you're doing a hardbound. A lot of the stuff that you see nowadays with stretch goals and whatnot, you're going to see, oh, we're going to get, foil embossed this or that. Or, this different stretch goal, or we're going to, UV, or whatever the case is. Well, a lot of that kind of started with Bigfoot Bill there. And Doug, of course, after the game, I try to remember if this was one of the. It wasn't the top um, money making comic at the time, but it was pretty close. I think it was, number two, number three, somewhere right around there. So Doug did a really good job as far as coming up with the comic, the book, that sort of deal. After the campaign, he left Comicsgate, and at the time, Bear was kind of, okay, we can understand that. You're going back to the video game company and you're going to do some stuff over there. Maybe they have some, stuff that they don't want to deal with our hat group that we have here, making hats. Didn't want to have anything to do with that. Okay, all right, that's fine. If you want to kind of separate yourself from that, that's okay. It was when he kind of turned on a lot of the, not only the creators but the fans as well. I think that's when Doug TenNapel kind of lost out of favor there. But the kind of last thing that Bear would kind of talk about, Earthworm Jim did a whole heck of a lot of money there. Kind of used Bigfoot Bill to kind of balance in his success. But the biggest thing that Bear would say with Earthworm Jim and kind of Doug in general would be how he kind of inspired some of the what you would see kind of normally now in the Comicsgate stuff. So Uncle E just kind of launched I forget what he calls it, but basically the box that you can kind of put your original comics or Cyberfrog comics in. So keep getting that twisted. I don't know why. Doug actually came out with the first sort of a classy box. Kind of started that whole box craze, and yeah, so you gotta give at least a little bit of credit. I know a lot of people don't like Doug. Bearwood puts himself in that as well, but since we're talking about groundbreaking books and not necessarily the books that are most favored or something like that, you gotta at least throw in at the very least Bigfoot Bill. It kind of opened up a lot of possibilities for people to say, oh, okay, that's what a comic book can look like. So, it was something that people to strive for. Not everybody can raise nearly $200,000 for a book. And he put a lot of money in there. Had a whole bunch of issues with the shipping and everything. I think that was the other thing. People kind of took notice of Doug's shipping situation, kind of how that played out, and says, okay, we don't want to have that sort of backlash. So they kind of made sure, at least tried to make focus the campaign stuff. The issue with Bigfoot Bill was he took more money than books printed. So that was kind of an issue there. But lessons learned. Lessons learned. All right, click off that. Oh, Miguel says, TenNapel, yes, definitely is more political. No, he's not an SJW. No, I wouldn't call TenNapel an SJW. Um, but he is not neutral. He is a conservador. I like that. Conservador. I like that Spanish kind of mix in there. That's pretty good. And not liberal like CG. I wouldn't call. Yeah, one of the things that Beer would add with, Mike and maybe Doug to a certain extent, they're a little bit more on the, politically conservative side. You got a number of people who might say, yeah, I voted for Trump, but, didn't like this or that. We're on, you know, definitely on Doug's side, it would be, Trump can do no wrong, that sort of deal. I think a lot of people kind of fall generally in the middle, or if they're on the more liberal side, it's more tolerable for them. They don't mind, they wouldn't mind, let's just say, getting Magnificent Seven book from Mike there because it was a funny book. You know, you might not even like Trump or anything like that, but it's a genuinely funny book. He did a pretty good job with that. So yeah, I Doug's situation with YouTube was definitely his political stance, and I think he took that way too far that he needed to. It was let's get on the crazy train and just floor it with that. So that was definitely not a it was definitely not helpful at the time. You know, a lot of people like Bear, you know, he would kind of come out and say, well, there's constitutional issues that we have to deal with. It didn't have to do with this sort of weird, John Roberts, the Supreme Court justice, he's involved in this weird, child thing there. They go, look, that doesn't help anybody. Even if it's true, it's a distraction. It was very silly stuff that was very much based in, the sort of 4chan Gab situation stuff there. So, yeah, that was his whole situation. Again, he's not an SJW or anything like that. It's just he did tick off a lot of fans, including Bear here. I mean, one of the things was the whole Cecil situation. Cecil had kind of come out with a book and was kind of poking fun at Doug. I thought that was in bad taste. Didn't really need to do that or anything like that. But then Doug kind of turned right around and was trying to get Indiegogo to cancel Cecil's book. And it's, again, Doug is an SJW, but some of those tactics were. So yeah, that was definitely a black eye on Doug there for sure. All right, not only one of Bear's favorites, but also I would probably say definitely groundbreaking book here would be Earthbound by Narwal. I don't know why he's going by Per Berg here, but well, I guess if you're living in Portland, I guess you gotta go by an assumed name. But yeah, anyways, Earthbound, not necessarily the first campaign. The first campaign, there was actually two Earthbound campaigns. The first one didn't do the greatest in the world, but it did fairly okay. Um, Narwhal came back out with a second round here with the hardcover. Did much better. I think he doubled up on what he came up with. So I would kind of put Earthbound and Narwhal in the camp of okay, we've seen the professionals. We've seen the people that have came in from the industry and then said, okay, let me try and make the mark in the independent area. Narwhal would be one of the ones that has come up with Comicsgate. You can name a couple others. Kyung Lee would be one. Didn't include it on the list here, but Matthew Weldon probably should have included. What was that? Punchline. Another great sort of independent style book. So again, Earthbound doesn't have it doesn't have any costume heroes or anything like that. It's a story about free will and predetermination. So pretty hefty book there to be talking about in kind of in a comics form, but he made it work. He made it work, and of course went on. We were talking about the other day, Earthbound 2. I mean, look at that. He's already up to, and this was a couple of days ago, $66,000. So what was that? Let me click back on it here real quick. 1 second. Where is it? So yeah, pretty much tripled his amount there. From the first Earthbound. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Earthbound 2, please do so. But yeah, also we were doing it here earlier, 499. So a number of projects and let's see, what was the other one? Foreign Agent. So from that one book here, Earthbound, we had Narwhal expand out, and then now he's kind of coming in with your boy Zach, and they're kind of doing their own little collaboration there. Well, without Jawbreakers, without Earthbound, we wouldn't have 499. We wouldn't have any of the other collaborations that are going to be coming out of this. Hopefully, some good stuff there. So kind of switching the gears here a little bit with it, but a little bit more of the independent realm. And I think this is a little bit where the Comicsgate is going to be going. There's a little bit of a split there where you see a lot of the big campaigns going one way and doing really well, and then you've got a lot of the other campaigns that are doing fairly well, but are being overshadowed by some of the bigger campaigns. So hopefully we can get a little bit more of some of the newer campaigns and newer artists out there trying their trade here to see what they can do. I think that's kind of Comicsgate. Kind of call it different things here, but maybe Comicsgate 3.0 if this is 2.0 here, and your boy Zach talking about stuff on the internet was Comicsgate 1.0. So hopefully we've got some more artists coming out and gonna be kind of able to carry the torch, as it were. Carry the torch. All right, one final one. One final one. It was kind of interesting. I kind of debated on whether or not to include this or not. Talking about the Packins Land Omnibus. Now, Beer made the joke of it literally being groundbreaking because it's like 738 pages long. So, yes, if you dropped it, you wouldn't want to drop it on your toe because it might break your toe, but it would definitely break the ground. Now, Gary wouldn't be one of the, big selling books. I mean, $20,000. A great job there. Nothing wrong with that, but nothing earth shattering or anything like that. But the one thing that Gary did right here is the omnibus. See, now we've got, let's see, what did Bear see? The She omnibus. Billy Tucci's going to be doing an omnibus. Um, I think Ethan is also doing a omnibus of Cyberfrog, the '90s run there. So he's kind of started a trend there of doing collections of if you're a professional, hey, dig back into the catalog and kind of do something with it there. So I think Gary kind of started that trend, and a little bit like Narwal there, kind of did his own little campaign. He's kind of going in the opposite direction. Everybody is, hey, digging back into their catalog. Gary says, no, I don't want to dig back in the catalog. I want to go forward. So he took one of his characters there and made it his own. 30, what was that? $32,000 there for Titan. Kind of a Batman mouse sort of situation there. So yeah, Gary did a relatively good job. He's increasing his amounts over the time there. So yeah, I think another one where it would have been a previous artist kind of coming in from one of the companies there, but very much a very independent thing. And believe it or not, Gary was actually on Ethan's channel, the Comicsgate Live channel. I mean, many moons ago. But yeah, he was selling. I believe it was Packins Land, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, you have a lot of these people that have a lot of the stuff in common. Kind of got split away here for various reasons. But I don't see why anybody couldn't get back together, other than Doug here. Any of the people like Mike or anything like that. I think, just trying to get through some of the, I guess it would be professional rivalry a little bit there, kind of the locking horns, I suppose. No, I'm the better artist. No, I'm the better artist. That sort of deal. But yeah, I think kind of bringing Mike back into the fold and getting the band back together. The one thing that you kind of want to look at is not trying to hold grudges against people that hold 90% of your values, 80% even 75%. Like Miguel here was saying earlier, the people aren't necessarily SJWs or anything like that. They might be a little bit more on the liberal side of the political spectrum than, some of the other guys who are on the more conservative side. But I think the thing that everybody has in common is you don't want people to be kicked out of their jobs just because of a tweet they made 5 years ago, 6 years ago, a post they made 10 years ago or something like that coming back to haunt them. Number one, people change. Number two, it has nothing to do with the job that they're doing right now. So trying to get people back on base, figure out who the real enemy is, if you want to use that term, instead of trying to snipe at each other. Professional rivalry aside, identifying why some of this stuff is happening, why your boy Zach had to go on Indiegogo in the very first place to be able to run it was a good comic book. There's nothing. It's not one of Bear's top comic books. I mean, not even in the top 5. but it's definitely groundbreaking, and what he did back then was groundbreaking. So identifying why he did that, why he had to do that, um, definitely goes back to why a lot of the artists need to kind of put aside some of the rivalry, the professional rivalry there, and swallow a little bit of pride and be able to, put out a good face for the rest of the community here. Be able to, hey, uh, I don't want to feel bad buying both Cyberfrog and Lone Star, for example. I think both are great books, and both books should be read by people. Um, I think they do. I think both of them do a pretty good job. Again, it just gets into the headbutting and that sort of deal that is just it's just silly. One of the things Beer started his channel, and then like all of a sudden it kind of got into the big Comicsgate split and everything. So that was kind of disappointing. But I think we've got a pretty good future ahead, especially when you've got stuff like let me see, Gary here, and also Earthbound as well. Let me get to it. A lot of the upcoming artist. I didn't put it in there, but Matthew Weldon as well. I wouldn't say it was groundbreaking or anything like that, but comics like Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb. That was still one of Bear's favorite books. So I guess you could call it groundbreaking. It had a little bit of the manga stuff. I think that was also the first black and white book in Comicsgate. Not mistaken, I hope. Um, anyways, there's probably one or two or three or five different books that you might say, well, you should have chose this one instead of that one, or you should have added this book instead of this book. And I think those are all pretty well. You can make an argument for that, but I think you can make an argument for the books that Bear showed here. So just kind of refresh here: Jawbreakers, Cyberfrog, Lone Star, Bigfoot Bill, Earthbound, Packin's Land. I would say those would be the, let's see, how many is that? Six. The six books. The six groundbreaking. I should have renamed the title. Oh man, that would have been great. That would have been a great clickbait title. I need to rename that. The six groundbreaking comic books in Comicsgate. There you go. All right, let me, been neglecting the chat here. And that's alright, because there's no chats. That's alright. That's alright. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of number one trip down memory lane, and hope that some of you kind of agree with Bear's choices here and some of the groundbreaking comics out there. Oh, let me click out of that and go back to the thing. Go back to the thing with the thing and the thing, because there we go. Yeah, I should have renamed it. The six groundbreaking books in Comicsgate. The road forward, yeah, well, where do you go from here? I don't know. All right. Well, where are we? Oh, we are over an hour. Yeah, that's right. Beer started early for some reason. All right. Well, Beer actually has this nice collection. Let me just go back to it here of sushi that he still needs to dive into here to fill his tummy up. Here. So I think we're going to go ahead wrap it up here. I want to thank Miguel out there. He had to take a little time out from the gym there, but do appreciate you keeping Beer company, and all the other lurkers and people that come in on the sly here. Do thank you as well. But we're gonna head back into the woods. So till next time, people. Do appreciate you here. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday at 8. Or sometimes Bear accidentally does it at 7:45 for some reason. But usually at 8 o'clock, so hopefully see you guys then. Alright, well, until next time, everybody, take care. Grrrr!